Welcome to today's presentation for the topic of religion. My name is Claudia Manzano. I will be your presenter. This presentation was generated for the class of Anthropology of Religion for Humboldt State University in May 2020. Let me begin with a question. What is religion? Religion has many definitions. The one that I feel is thought-provoking is religion is a system of symbols which act to establish powerful, pervasive, and long-lasting moods and motivations in men. By formulating conceptions of general order of existence and clothing these conceptions with such an aura of factuality that the mood's motivations seem uniquely realistic. The presentation will focus on what does long-lasting moods look like. The civilization that I found that can illustrate Greek's observation or theory of long-lasting moods is the Aztec Empire. The Aztec Empire flourished between 1345 C through 1521 CE. The Aztec religion had many deities. The Aztec created temples to honor these deities and hold rituals. An important deity to the Aztec was called the God of the Dead. He is best known for its name in Nahuatl, which is Mictlantecuhtli. He was the lord of the underworld. Other names that people identify him as the Lord of Mictlan, Huatlitzu, Ciuteto, and Popotli. Mictlantecuhtli ruled over Mictlan, the 9 underground rivers, and over the souls of the dead. His wife, Mictlantecuhtli, presides over the Day of the Dead. This is the day when the souls of the ancestors return to their homes to see their relatives. These two rule the Mictlan and the fate of the souls who came to it. In the legend about the Aztec creation, Mictlantecuhtli attempted to delay the god Quetzalcoatl on his journey into Mictlan. Quetzalcoatl was searching for the bones of the creatures from the previous world of the fourth sun in order to make mankind. Mictlantecuhtli insisted that Quetzalcoatl could only take the bones away with him if he went around the underworld 4 times blowing a conch shell trumpet. This task was not quite as simple as it seemed, as the god of the underworld only gave Quetzalcoatl an ordinary conch shell, and so it did not have sound. Quetzalcoatl got around the problem by having worms drill holes in the shell and placing bees inside so their buzzing would sound like a trumpet. Having heard Quetzalcoatl sounding the conch trumpet, Mictlantecuhtli decided to allow the god to take the bones. It did not take long for him to change his mind. Mictlantecuhtli attempted to stop Quetzalcoatl. The lord of Mictlan failed to do so, and Quetzalcoatl escaped from the underworld with the bones he wanted. Furious, Mictlantecuhtli ordered a pit to be dug so Quetzalcoatl would fall. Quetzalcoatl ran towards it, a quail popped out, surprising him and caused him to fall into the pit. The bones that he carried shattered, and this, according to the Aztec, is the reason why human beings are all different sizes. The rituals for Mictlantecuhtli demanded a small amount of blood. If it involved defeating an enemy during a war, it involved cannibalism, with human flesh being consumed in and around the temple. Mictlantecuhtli was represented in the Aztec calendar. According to the Aztec traditions, on the 20th day, a special ritual for Mictlantecuhtli needed to be conducted. This included music, perfume created by burning copal, and blood. Spain conquered the Aztec Empire in 1521 and claimed Mexico territory for Spain. The Spanish colonists then began to gradually converting the Aztecs to Christianity. When the Spaniards saw the rituals of the Aztec, they condemned them because in their views they were demonic and barbaric. So Gretz's definition is that religion is long-lasting moods and motivations in man by formulating conceptions of the general order of existence. In 2014, Pew Research registered 81% of the Mexican population is Catholic, but their Aztec religion, rituals, and practice is still a general idea of their existence, and the rest of the presentation will prove why. Remember, Mictlantecuhtli, Lady of the Dead, presides over the Day of the Dead. Mictlantecuhtli is now in the form of La Catrina. After the Independence War, a new and diverse country was born, and new customs were added to the celebrations. At the end of the 19th century, images like La Catrina displayed Mexicans' intimate and comfortable relationship with death and their dead. The Spaniards and Catholic missionaries did not stop those celebrations, but rather blended them with All Saints' Days tradition, eventually moving them to the 1st and 2nd of November, creating what is now known as Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. Celebrating the Day of the Dead has a direct relation to the Aztec practices honoring the gods of death. Let me show you how. November 1st is the Day of Children, or All Saints' Day. November 2nd is the Day of the Dead. The structure of the celebration sets two types of death based on age. So, Aztecs did not believe in heaven or hell. For the Aztecs, the fate of the departed was determined on the basis of how this person died. Most of those who died a violent death enter a different realm from those sacrificial victims. Children, of course, that die at childbirth had their designated realm or layer, and so forth and so on. Having two separate days of celebration, it honors Aztec beliefs of the realms in the underworld. In Mexico, the Day of the Dead, the tradition and rituals involve visiting the grave sites. Candles, flowers, and the favorite foods of the deceased are placed on the grave, and the family visits, eats, sings, and tells favorite story about those who have passed. Day of the Dead altars is set with different elements. A picture of the relative is placed in the altar to summon and revive the spirit. Fresh flowers decorate the altar since it is believed that the aroma will make the returning souls feel welcome and happy. The cempasúchil, flower of the dead, its petals are set to make a path from the house door to the altar. The belief is that it shows the soul the way to return home. The altar contains levels. Each level represents the different realms to get to the final destination. The arch symbolizes the entrance to the underworld. The chiseled paper represents the element or air from the way it moves. The Day of the Dead bread is one of the most critical elements in the altar, as it is a fraternal offering for the souls. Candy skulls represent death and its presence. Candies are said to treat children's souls. The food depends on the region in Mexico. The food on the altar must be the most festive and tasty. A good example is mole. These dishes are expensive, only to make them for special occasions. Also, the altar must contain other food like tamales, atoles, and fruits like oranges and apples and desserts. The spiritual drinks are tequila, mezcal, pulque. These are offered to the adult souls so they can relax and enjoy their family. Candles show the souls their way to the altar and back to the death world. They symbolize the light, hope, and faith. The number of candles in the altar depends on the local tradition. In some areas, a candle is set for each honored soul. In others, only 4 candles are used, one for each cardinal point. Petates are set aside for the souls to lie down and rest. A glass of water is set in the altar to calm the soul's thirst after their long journey. Copal is burned to purify the place and to attract the souls with its sweet smell, just like the Aztecs used for their ceremonies. Salt is set in the altar as a purifier element. Personal objects are added to the offering to make him feel at home. Like Greetz stated, religion is long-lasting moods and motivations in man by formulating conceptions of general order of existence. We previewed the long-practiced ritual and significance of the Day of the Dead by Mexicans. Now, another phenomenon to honoring Mictlantecuhtli. The rising religion of La Santa Muerte, a representation of death, is associated with healing, protection, and safe delivery to the afterlife by its followers. Despite the rejections of Christian leaders, the religion has about 6 million followers between the U.S. and Mexico. The religion of the Santa Muerte has similar practice and rituals to the Aztec, but it also has influence of the Catholic religion that was imposed after the colonization. Here's a side-by-side comparison of a child presented to each religion. Here's a child presented to the Santa Muerte, and here's a child presented to the Catholic Church. Like the Aztecs offer blood to Mictlantecuhtli, the new altar to the Santa Muerte, they offer guns to kill their enemies. The altar has a picture of the person they want dead. Mexican traditions and practices about death establishes feelings for the origin of their existence. Death also gives them a philosophy to their continuance. Their faith drives each religious practice. Religion builds a symbol of general direction of their vitality, making the orthodox interpretations of reality seem right by representing them artistically, appealing, and persuasively.